Okay, in this video we're going to look at dealing with line spacing and paragraph indenting. And we're going to do that using the paragraph dialog box. Now, what I'm going to do is I've actually opened up this file, and this file is 20 survey, straight from the textbook. And I'm going to select the first paragraph here, starting at Michigan Avenue Athletic Club. And there we go, selecting. There we go. So I've selected this paragraph. Now, from the home ribbon, I'm going to come down to the paragraph box. I'm going to click for more options, and it opens up a new dialog box for paragraph. And the very first thing I want to look at is my indentation. And what the book has asked me to do is it says that it would like me to indent this by 1 inch. And so I can come up here and I can go click, click, click using the up arrow until I get 1.0, and that's 1 inch. And that, please notice, is for the left. And what I need to do now is deal with the right hand side. And I'm just going to go ahead and do this a lot faster. And I'm going to click in here, I'm going to use the keyboard, and I'm going to say 1 for 1 inch. Now let's hit OK, and we'll see what that's done to our text. Alright, so there you can see it. It's brought it in from the left and the right margin, a total of 1 inch from each side. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to look at the spacing that I have before and after the paragraph. Right now, if you notice down where my mouse is at the bottom of Mac mission statement, I don't have any spacing between these two lines. And I have some spacing at the top, but I would like a little bit more. So the book has asked me to go ahead and set 6 points of spacing before, and actually it's just 6 points of spacing before. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to go paragraph before, and I'm going to go 6 points. I'm just going to click up until it displays 6 points. While I'm in here, it's also asked me to make a change to my leading, and that's done over here on line spacing. Now, line spacing can do a few things. If I click on this little arrow here, it's going to open up and it's going to give me several options. The first option is 1.5 line spacing, and then double line spacing. And what that does is 1.5 will put 1.5 lines, so it'd be half a line of text between my lines. So let's take a look at 1.5. Click and OK, and you can see how that has now opened up. I have a half a line of space between each, so that's 1.5 line spacing. I'll go back to paragraph, and I'll show you what double will look like. And here's double, and OK, and I have twice as much as originally. So there we go, 1.5 and double line spacing. Well, I need to go back in there because the book doesn't ask for 1.5 or double. It asks for at least 14 points of leading. And what the heck is that? Well, first of all, I come down and I choose at least. And as soon as I do that, this little box on the right hand side comes alive. And it's currently set to 12 points. And leading just gives me a little bit more control for the spacing between my lines. And I'm going to go from 12 to 14 point. And now I have 14 points of spacing or leading between my lines. And we're going to take a look at that in a second here. So let me go ahead and hit OK. And there you go. So you can see that it looks a little bit different, but not dramatically different. If it's just a little bit tighter in between the lines than if it was 1.5 line spacing. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to look here, and I'm going to have to make a change to where it says Mac mission statement. And what I want to do is I want to have that right aligned on the screen. So I'm going to go ahead and select that line, and I'm going to go into paragraph, and I'm going to choose my alignment. And see, under general I have alignment. It's currently set to left, and I'm just going to go ahead and set that to right align. And you can see in my preview down here what it's done to Mac mission statement, and I'll go ahead and hit OK. And there you go, it's jumped over to the right hand side. And to make it just look a little bit more clean, I'm going to actually select these paragraphs, and I'm going to turn on my full justification, and there we go. Oh, in doing so, I apparently have lost my right alignment. So I'm just going to go ahead and hit align right. I've done that actually from up here from the quick select icon, and there we go. I have my right alignment. All right, now I have to move along here, and the next paragraph, the results of a recent member survey, all the way down to procedures. I'm going to select that text next, and the book has asked me to double space and do a first line indent to 1/2 inch and leave 6 points of spacing before and after. All right, fastest way again, move into the paragraph, click. I'm going to go in here, and the first thing I need to do is I need to double space. So I'm going to go to spacing, and I'm going to use the double space now. Come down, click double. Okay, then I'm going to look at first line indent. So under indentation here, I'm going to choose 1 inch. And before I do anything up here, let's move over here where it says special. And I've actually got an option here where I can choose first line, and I can say 1 inch. Now notice I want to use this option and not the regular indentation for left and right, because the regular indentation for left and right will indent the entire paragraph from either the left or the right hand side of the screen by whatever I set it at, where the special option box will only indent the very first line. Let's take a look and see what that looks like on the screen. There we go. I have first line indent of 1 inch. All right. Now the text goes on to say to leave 6 points of space before and after my text. So it's still selected. I'm going to move back into paragraph, and I'm going to say before 6 points, after 6 points, and OK. And I now have that portion of my text completed. It doesn't ask me at this point to do it, but the text shows that it's fully justified. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to fully justify that. There we go. And that paragraph is done. So now I'm going to move on to the last section. And these last 3 paragraphs are going to be a little bit more challenging. I need to change the formatting of the paragraph considerably. So I'm going to go back into paragraph, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back into indentation. The textbook asks me, hanging indent set to 1 inch. So under special, this time I'm not selecting first line, I'm selecting hanging. And what hanging will do is it'll leave the first line out, and all the lines that come after the first line in that paragraph will hang in by however much I set it. The default setting is 1/2 inch. I'm going to just simply increase that until it reads 1 inch. I've also been asked to leave 12 points of space before and after each paragraph. So spacing before, 12, spacing after, 12, and then it says, and set the leading to exactly 14 points. So here's line spacing. I'm going to go in here, and it's going to be exactly, and I want 14. Okay, and what that'll do is again, the leading will increase the space between the lines by just a little bit. This spacing here for before and after, this will increase the paragraph spacing. I'll put a little bit of spacing before and a little bit of spacing after each paragraph. And again, the hanging indent will indent all the lines that come after the first line of a paragraph by 1 inch. Let's go ahead and see what all this looks like. There we go. So you can see that my first line here starts with security. Now it has a tab in it, but we're going to ignore that. The club will install security cameras in the lobby outside all entrances and exits. You can see that the second line, starting with entrances, has been indented by 1 inch, as well as new member, as well as members and their guests. Please notice I have show hide on, and there's no paragraph marking up here. Word wrap is simply clicked it, been turned on, left on, and allowed the text to wrap right around. The hanging indent allows it to pop in. So that's why it's nice and clean here. Okay, so those are the quick and easy ways to go ahead and adjust paragraph spacing, as well as deal with the the indentations as well. Okay.